I want it to be within those gates on the green or on the flag.
That's the key word, is intention.
Yeah.
You have to be intentional with what you're practicing. If you're gonna practice, let's do it to get better. Okay, so find some intent, measure out how you're gonna get better with what you're gonna do. So right here, we have roughly 30 yards to the flag, and we have a window of about 12 feet, you know, short and long.
Yep.
Okay, the full diameter of what we want to do. All right, so that's measurable. If we get these 5 balls, if we get 3 out of 5 inside that mark right there,
we're in good shape.
We're in good shape. Now you can start narrowing that window a little bit.
So
or you go, I'm gonna get 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5.
So this is almost like a ladder drill for like
essentially
in putting, but you're doing with chipping.
Yeah.
Like you need to be past the first one, but in front of the last
essentially one. It's actually more of a lag drill.
Okay.
So you think a lag putting drill for speed. You have 2 clubs on the ground or 2 sticks or whatever you're putting at. You're trying to get the ball to stop within that parameter. Okay, that's how you start gauging your speed. Then you start narrowing those gates in. Same thing here. I'm trying to get it to within those gates.
Awesome.
All right, so that's how you measure.
Okay.
Right now, you know, here in the Pacific Northwest, you know, 2 months out of the year, it's firm.
Yep.
Right now, so this ground is pretty firm right now. Typically, golfers in this area, we look for something that's got a little bit more bounce to it. So bounce is the bottom of the club and how much it's going to engage with the ground. Okay, the bounce is what we're trying to do, is we're trying to get the club to not dig.
And that's that thump.
That's that thump.
That's that thump that you hear, like the
thump. Okay.
That's the bounce.
That's the bounce. Okay. And no matter what you do with that right bounce, with the kind of swing that you have, it's whether if it's a shallow or a steep angle, if you thump it right, you're not going to take a divot, and that's how you avoid chunk shots.
Yep.
Okay. And that round here, you see more chunk shots than not because a little bit softer conditions. Or we get into some firmer conditions like this, and now somebody's got a 12-degree bounce club. It's going to be really hard to get that leading edge down underneath that ball.
Now,
so that's
leading edge. I know it. You know it. I'm sure a lot of people know about it. But show me where the leading edge is.
So leading edge on a club is that first part of the wedge.
Yeah.
Okay. The bounce is the angle of which the bottom sole is against that leading edge. So this angle right here, okay, on a flat surface, that angle right there is the bounce. So you'll have some clubs like this is a 4, so it's a low bounce. It's got a low grind back here, so it's got a low bounce, so that leading edge can get down close to the ground.
And this is an 8.
Where you have an 8, this is gonna sit just a little bit higher. That leading edge is gonna sit a higher up off the ground right there, okay, as you are getting close. So this is good for maybe thicker conditions like the rough.
Yep.
Okay, or you have some softer conditions. This is not ideal
for this type of shot, really.
For firmer conditions.
Yeah.
Now, it all depends on the type of swing that you have. Okay, shallower swings, lower bounce.
Yep.
Okay, steeper swings, a little bit more bounce. That's going to help from digging.
Yep.
All right, that's the idea. So understanding your bounce, that's crucial.
Yeah.
All right, to hitting these really good shots. But then what does bounce do, and how does it affect the shot you're trying to hit?
Well, I mean, I'm guessing, right? Again, I know about bounce. I've heard it from every teacher, and I know how to engage the bounce because you hear that thump.
Yep.
But by doing that, it's almost like it's kind of literally bouncing off the turf.
It's literally
right?
bouncing off the turf.
And that's what's causing you to hit the ball.
Yes.
You know, from there.
Yep. The leading cause to hitting a poor shot like this is getting your hands too far forward. Okay, this
because that's de-lofting it.
You're de-lofting it, but now you're taking away the bounce. You're letting that leading edge come in, and that's the dance partner. No, that's got to take a back seat.
Yep.
That leading edge gets underneath the ball, but the bounce has to engage with the ground. Too many people don't want to take divots, and they're afraid that, oh, if I take a divot, the grass is going to be all damaged and I'm going to ruin. No, that's why we have superintendents.
Yep.
They fix the grass for us. It's okay. We love our superintendents. Thank you. All right. They fix all this. So now we just got to make sure that we're engaging it right. We're not going to take big divots when we engage the bounce. You're just not. There'll be some times in softer conditions you will, but here you're not going to take a divot. So let's get down. Let's get the hands releasing the club down into the ball, down into the ground, and hear that thump. If you get the hands too far forward, that's when you get stuck.
Just like that.
Yeah.
On this typical shot, you know, I've got my 8 degree, I believe, of bounce, right? So I've got my 56. You know, do you want me to hit like my typical shot
Show
versus
me your typical shot right now.
So on this, it's just kind of a standard chip shot. I've learned that it's really just important for me to go straight back. You know, sometimes I'll bring it back here and that gets me in trouble.
Yep.
So a really good visual for me of the feeling is when I was in the bunker having basically like the rake and feel the shaft going up, right? So
Yeah.
I have to feel like I'm going up that shaft
Yeah.
and then through. So that's kind of what I'll do
Okay.
on this one, and hopefully I can execute it somewhat. So I mishit that a little bit, got the
heavy.
leading edge a little bit.
Yep, a little heavy.
So that was not technique per se, it was more
That was
club
setup.
face.
That was
It was
setup.
setup,
That
really.
was setup. That was 100% setup.
So that's a surprise to me. How is that a setup issue?
So your ball on that setup was a little bit far forward for
Okay.
a shot like this, and we are a little bit on an uphill.
Yeah.
Okay. So your weight needs to be just a hair forward on this shot.
So this
I think
ball
you
has
drop
to
that,
be-
you drop that ball back just a hair.
Just right here.
Just a hair. Yep. And then make sure that weight stays 60-40.
Okay.
Don't let that weight drift back onto that back foot. And do the same thing.
Cleaner contact,
That was extremely clean.
much better.
Yeah.
You could tell instantly. So just that subtle setup change.
It's little setup changes, and that's something that I see a lot. And typically what I want all my students to do is when they're setting up, you get a little bit more weight on your forward leg.
Yeah.
Okay, you're gonna make sure that that weight is, especially with the slope, if you're going up the slope a little bit, and this is just a subtle incline, but you are wanting to make sure that your weight stays a little bit forward
Yeah.
as you're moving through the ball. Like you said a second ago, you were feeling like sometimes you would turn a little
Yeah.
bit. This short swing like this, we're not really engaging the lower body a lot. So upper body has to stay very steady, or the lower body has to stay steady while the upper body is making the motion back, like you said, straight up that your plane right there. So when you come down, if my weight is back here,
You're moving the club
even
position
at
back.
50-50, I'm still moving it back a little bit. So I'm ensuring that I'm gonna make solid contact by having the weight slightly forward.
Exactly.
I didn't say anything about your hands because they're in a good spot. You
Yeah.
didn't have your hands pushed far forward. They were dead even right there, so you could engage that
Yeah.
pass.
Well, and I think, I was honestly shocked that you just said that it was a setup thing, because I did what every average golfer does, right? Like, oh, I must have come in too steep. It's like, actually, you just had the ball in the wrong spot because you didn't take into account just this mini incline and where the ball position is.
It had nothing to do with fundamentals, okay? And that's why I said before, I feel like 75%
Yeah.
of a successful shot happens before you even swing the club. Your setup, okay? Your grip, your posture, and your alignment, those things, if those are done correctly, you're setting yourself up for a really good outcome.
Yeah.
All right? The chances of success go way up.
So outside of that typical, that was kind of like your standard pitch shot, I guess.
Yeah.
What else? What other shot do you think from here that you'd like to kind of play around with, right? Or that you would play around with?
Well, I mean, here, so you have a 56 right here.
Got a 56.
Okay, you could put that back in your stance and hit one of these little trap lower shots.
Yep.
To bring it in a little bit lower, because there's nothing in front of you right
So
here.
that's
There's no
like right
danger
here.
to deal with. Yeah.
Same setup.
Same setup. We're just moving the ball back in our stance, and we're ensuring that the weight stays forward, and the hands are finishing really low.
So a little lower.
Yeah.
Again, mishit. That's just short, but the idea was there. So
Yeah.
I'll do that one
Do
again.
that again. Don't change anything except the length of your swing. Longer backswing, longer follow through.
Just like that. That might get in. Okay.
That's at least within the gate right there.
Right. So
Yeah.
within the gate.
Yep.
So
That
that's
had a
kind of
chance.
the idea of it.
Yes. And that's where you play around with this.
Yeah.
So many people want to look at it and they think I need to hit it harder. Okay, I'm short. I got to hit this one harder. I got to swing faster. No. You just got to swing longer.
Yeah.
Staying within tempo, making a little bit longer swing, good acceleration into the ball where you're not jabbing at it quickly. You're putting the ball so far back in your stance and then you
Just, yeah, exactly.
chunk behind it. I see that so much. Length of swing, okay, that and tempo. That's where going back to that fundamental piece of having smooth tempo. Whether it's a long driver swing or a 3-foot putt, the tempo stays the same. Making sure that you manage the tempo. We're just changing the length of your swing.
So final question with the tempo. I should actually not necessarily tempo, the backswing. People have the clock system. You
Yeah.
know, some people like, here's 11, here's 10,
Yep.
here's 9, whatever, which is okay on some of those longer shots. I never really like it because then that gives you another thing to think about on, did I hit it or not?
Yeah.
How do you gauge it? Is it just all feel, or is there like an actual way that you can say, on those first 2 shots or 3 shots that are short, I came here and came through. on that last shot, you had said extend your backswing a little, keep that tempo.
Yep.
And I got probably about right here.
Yep.
And then through.
Right.
Now, obviously, if I'm up here, that's kind of a full swing, and that gets me in trouble on this shot.
Yeah.
But is there a way, or is it just all feel for the player?
A lot of it is feel.
Yeah.
It really is. And I don't want to take anything away from that, but golf is so much feel. You have to have some feel in it. Okay. You got to develop feel. You look at a shot. Okay. I am a fan of the clock matrix. I grew up with that, and that's something that I've always kind of leaned on. Okay. It helps me measure my feels and kind of see what I need to do with rotation in the arms. It's a great system. It doesn't work for everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. But I think another thing that would work well, it's a little bit more technical, but honestly, having your phone, everyone's got their phone, there's some sort of recording device now.
Yeah.
Set your phone up, watch your swing, okay, and hit 5 or 6 shots.
And just see where it's at.
See where it's at, because what you're feeling versus what you're seeing don't always correlate.
That's a great point. In my backswing, tell me where you want me to stop, and then go through, and I'll give you like pull the trigger.
Okay.
And I will try and stop there and go.
Okay.
Right. So let's see if I can do it, because I would hedge a bet it's probably not close to where you want it to.
Yeah. So I would say here, I would want your hands for this shot to stop just above belt high.
Just belt high.
Belt high, and then finish just above belt high.
Okay. So there. I already finished way too high. But how was I on my backswing?
It was awesome.
Yeah?
It was awesome.
Okay, so that was
it finished just above belt high.
Yeah.
But you accelerated.
Yeah.
And you finished a little bit higher, and now you got a nice little tap and birdie putt.
So, but in terms of back swing length and follow through, was I at that hip to hip? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good to know.
Your backswing was here. Follow through was probably
a little
right
bit
here,
higher.
which is what I would always prefer.
Okay.
I would never want to see it the other way.
You don't want to see here and then here.
No.
That's bad.
And that's when you're talking about just the typical golfer getting out there and hitting just a stock standard wedge shot or a pitch shot like this. Never really want to see anybody try and get, really high and then low like that.
Yeah.
There's too much wrist action that comes involved. There's players that do that. I mean, there's times for that.
Exactly.
Absolutely. But why would I want to overcomplicate the simplicity of a shot like this?
Yep.
Just want a nice hip high. Let it finish a little bit longer than hip high.
Awesome. Well, this is great.